Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusril, the game is World of Warships, and this is Fubuki doing her best on the ocean map. We'll start with a quick look at the overview. The ocean map, well, there's not a lot to say about it, is there? It's ocean. It's just ocean. It's lots and lots of water. There is no terrain whatsoever, which means absolutely no cover if you're a destroyer and you haven't got a smoke screen handy, so that can get interesting right from the start. Matchmaking's not too shabby on this one. It's a 6 to 8 spread, so I'm top tier. And, well, not too many sixes, only about 3 a side. Luckily, no aircraft carrier, because of course aircraft are the other bane of the Japanese destroyer line. So, round start, and away we go. First plan, of course, is to dash down to C, then hook across to B. As a consequence, I've got the turrets locked onto port side to start with, because if I make a starboard turn, the enemy's going to be off to port, and it's Fubuki. The guns only do 7 degrees a second traverse, even with the upgraded turrets, so, well, you kind of have to have them pointed well ahead of time. Fubuki does not like surprises very much. There's another Fubuki on the team here. You can see him off to the right, Shazo Kassad. I can only assume he thinks he's in a battle suit. You do not have a jetpack. And he's about to cut across my path as well, so cut the throttle, turn inside him, let him run ahead, and then once we're no longer running a collision risk, we'll ramp up the power again, and that does at least give me some sea room to manoeuvre. If I'd simply tried to turn starboard at full power, we'd have hit each other. Yeah, Tau wannabes. He probably thinks he's got railguns on board as well. Anyhow, continuing the run down to sea, I've got Sierra Mike loaded for this battle, so I've got a slightly higher top speed than usual for the Fubuki. Normally she tops out at 35 knots, slowest high tier destroyer in the game, along with Kaguru and Meihan. However, because I've got Sierra Mike loaded, I go up to 36.8, just about, and if I plug in engine boost, you actually top 39, just about. Unfortunately, the enemy has got a Benson and a Kiev-class destroyer on the opposite team. We're fine so long as we don't run into them, because both of those ships are faster than Fubuki. In fact, Kiev does, I believe it's 42 knots as standard, so she's just flat faster than Fubuki, even with maximum upgrades and engine boost plugged in. However, we're about to hit point C, and if we have a bit of luck, we'll be able to... Ah, right, that's a little awkward. That's the Kiev. And I believe the Benson is lurking. Yeah, there he is. The Benson's lurking as well. So, hard over. Kiev's popped his smoke, and we've been detected as well. I'm not going to pop smoke immediately, because if we can persuade both the Benson and the Kiev to go invisible for a second, get a couple of shots into the Benson. Japanese 5-inch guns may lack damage per minute, but they do much better at sniper work. There we go, so the Benson's broken contact, and we're away from the Kiev as well. I have had to pop my smoke just for safety's sake, but let's get some rounds into that Kiev, because he's not exactly evading very hard. Anticipate his turn, rounds out. Zoom in again, bingo, 5 hits and a fire. He'll put that out pretty much immediately if he's got sense, because his engine's gone as well. There we go, there's his repair party away. Sorry, damage control. Repair party is something else. Get some more rounds into him. Another 2 hits. Not so good on the dispersion that time. He's astern. Anticipate the turn once more. Is this going to nail him? Well, his engine's out, so he can barely maneuver. And boom, first blood and a base defense. So that's not a bad start for me. We'll head off to point B, because point C is way too hot with that Benson around, and in any event we've been run a good way off the objective, turning around to deal with that Russian destroyer. However, the fastest ship in the game is out of it, which definitely helps our case a little. Now the only thing I've got that can catch me is the Benson, and as a side note, we've killed the enemy Fubuki over at point A as well. So life is momentarily looking up. All we have to do now is run down to point B, make the cap there. Problem is, Shazo Kassad, I think, has gotten himself into a gun duel with the Benson, and that's not a good thing. He's getting some support fire from the cruisers, but it's going to be too little too late. The American 5-inch guns are just ripping him a new one. Hole after hole in the hull, and eventually he will succumb to the inevitable if he can't break contact. Not that that's my immediate concern. At least I still know where the Benson is and it's not pursuing me. Another round of 5-inch comes in. There we go. That's the inevitable. Interestingly, it wasn't the Benson that got the kill. It was the Fuso. So must have had some luck with the main batteries there. Chances are the Benson is cursing his right now. However, what do we got? One Mule class, but he's heading away and he's at extreme range anyway. Capping B, tipping my hand that I'm here to the enemy, of course, and once radar comes in, this is going to be a very risky proposition. Not so much in this kind of situation, because the enemy are all comfortably out of what's going to be radar range, but if they were any closer, I'd be inviting a firing line at this point. So, keep running south towards the enemy. We've just lost another ship. One of our cruisers has gone down. Devastating strike, so that will have been multiple citadels or torpedoes, one or the other. Either way, he's not too happy about it. Grab the cap on B, start racking up a few more points. And now I can think about doing something about these enemy cruisers down south. We know the Benson's probably still off. Now, Bill Capitani, is he stationary? I don't see any smoke. Now, that could be a graph glare. Let's put some rounds out just to be sure. There's no parallax. I don't think he's moving at all. Okay, I'm not going to complain. Fire the rest of the guns. Fire all the guns, in fact. Let's see how long it takes him to wake up. And why have none of our battleships put rounds into him? Ah, there we go. He's awake. So, got another couple of hits from the 5 inches there. More rounds out. And that's that bit of fun over with. Managed just about to stay undetected, but did trip it right at the end because the Nürnberg got within 10 kilometers of me after I fired. So, torpedoes into the Nürnberg, again, not a great proposition, and that Pensacola's awake as well. The Nürnberg, for one thing, is turning pretty aggressively. You can see the TDC bearing shifting, and still shifting, so that would just be a waste of ammunition. The new Mex is out of range, just about, and is head-on, so it wouldn't be a great shot anyway. That Mewku, however, that Mewku could be worth the effort. He's holding a more or less steady course and speed, so one shot onto the TDC bearing, one shot behind it, and another shot even further behind. So if he does turn, then he's going to essentially turn into the second and third salvos. Now, let's see where this goes. Torpedoes are running and I'm pulling away to reload. Got a bit of a breather here for the moment, so check the angles. This looks good. He's not particularly head-reaching on the torpedoes, and they're not head-reaching on him, so should still be a collision course. Now, is that a turn he's started? Yeah, he has turned slightly, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's the emergency evasive coming from him. He's not going to do enough. 1 and 2. Only one flooding, but pretty much nailed him. Couple of volleys of gunfire should be enough to finish this guy off. So let's lay on. Just carefully set the range. Turrets are good. Match pointers and rounds out. Now, I've unmasked, of course, because he's less than 10 kilometers away, and I also led far too far ahead. But couple of decent hits, adjust slightly, rounds out again, and that's more like it. Bingo, 3 hits, only 800 damage though, didn't really hit his superstructure. So fire again, back into stealth. I've opened up the range enough. Unfortunately, because I've opened up the range, my accuracy is going to start to fall off quite badly. Unlike Kaguru and Shimakaze, Fubuki's stealth fire range isn't that great. The guns cap out at 12 kilometers. You can see a salvo missing short there, and now he's basically out of guns range. He's turned away. It's an extreme range shot. He's going to outrun the shells. So, turn back in, start looking for another attack approach. He's gotten away on 981 hit points. The git. Okay, right. So, reassess. Really want to chase down that Mewku, because we've just lost 2 battleships in quick succession. And someone's not too happy with me either. But if I try to close it on the Mewku, I've got to deal with the Pensacola, who is in a turn at the moment. So again, no valid torpedo solution, at least not one that's going to produce any actual hits. So we'll wait for him to stabilise a bit and run the range down. I want to keep this around about 7. Stabilise once, stabilise twice. and firing ahead this time, because if he turns away and picks up speed out of his turn, that's where he's going to be. The TDC bearing will miss aft. However, 6.3, I am just edging detection. He just takes a massive citadel from one of our allies, and yes, I'm sniping a kill here. I don't care. Look, he's going to sail into my torpedoes anyway in a couple of seconds, and I want this guy dead so I can get after the Muku. I do unmask in the process, but that's another kill, and just to make the point, he eats a torpedo as well. Muku obligingly unmasks himself to take a shot at me. He misses, but I now know exactly where he is. More to the point, I know he's turned and is running more or less perpendicular to me. So let's close the range down. We've lost another cruiser, damn it. Okay, it's pretty much honours even at the moment. Both sides are 5 ships down. Differences, of course, they're down 2 destroyers, which takes out a lot of their stealth and torpedo capabilities. We've got 2 ships to deal with at the moment. First one is the Nürnberg of, I think it's Spock 100 off to the left, and of course the Muku of Leon 22510 off to the right. Now, he is a guns kill if I can get one solid broadside into him. Rounds out, reasonably sure of that gun solution from far too many hours with the Japanese 5-inch guns, and miss long. Damn it. Is he turning? Just slightly. I've unmasked by accident, of course, so he's fired. Rounds are gonna mostly miss. There we go. One hit. He's on 200 and... Kindly sink, will you? Right, is that gonna do it? Because I put a decent firing solution. Clustering looks good. Rounds are coming down. Boom. Right, that's kill number 3. Is there a Kraken in sight, I wonder? Well, after those near misses from the York, I probably shouldn't be pushing my luck with the artillery any further. So, torpedoes into Nürnberg. Could risk it here, but I'm not going to. That Colorado is on the torpedo track, and if he turns into Nürnberg to close the range, then he's potentially going to run right into my torpedoes. So we'll close the range, run it down, give the Colorado some time to clear the fire lane, potentially get back into artillery range, but again, less than 10 kilometers. What the hell, he's dead anyway. Solves that problem. No Kraken this time, sadly. So, Bill Capitani, ye of the static York. That was an interesting target. At the moment, he's turning into us, so wait for him to commit to his turn. Little bit of horizontal lead, and no. Again, inside stealth fire range, so I'd unmask and I'd be right under a York's main battery if I did fire at this point. So, not a good idea. Mind you, we've pretty much won this one anyway. 964. The next kill's going to decide it. Now, the question is it going to be me who gets it? Well, probably not. Come on, where are you? Can I get close enough for a torpedo shot here? Nope, there's the final kill, and that is the deletion and the end of the game. 2,700 XP, 2 torpedo hits, 28 artillery hits. Not actually that good a performance. Only came in 3rd. Hasuharu came in top. I suspect because he nailed a devastating strike and a lot of capture points. And as for damage, well, it's pretty pitiful, really. Only 35,000 plus or minus, most of it from those 2 torpedoes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Yusril, and if that's my best, I'm going to have to start trying considerably harder. Until next time, farewell.